Hello, everyone, and welcome to Women Transforming Artificial Intelligence, a special event as part of Encora's Women Hackers Initiative, and all of this in celebration of Women's Month. My name is Neha Curtis. I'm the Vice President of Digital Engineering Strategy here at Encora, and I'm honored to guide today's conversation about the impact of women in AI, the challenges that we face, and how we can inspire the next generation of female talent in this transformative field. Now, we all know this, AI is shaping the future of technology, of course, but also business and society. And to ensure that it is fair, inclusive, and truly innovative, we need not just diverse voices sitting at the table, we need diverse voices leading the way. So today we're going to hear from incredible women who are breaking barriers, they're driving change, and redefining what's possible in AI. Now, this session is being live streamed on LinkedIn and YouTube, so please feel free to really join in on the conversation, engage with us in your comments, and share your thoughts. Please ask questions, and we'll make sure that we get to some of them later at the end of the session. Now, we've got three incredible women joining us today. Sophia, Iona, Nitu Sharma, and Anna Robles. So we're going to do a quick round of introductions. So Sophia, thank you so much for being here today, making time for this. I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself and, of course, maybe even some of the details of the AI projects that you're working on. And tell us where you're joining us from.
Sure. Thank you, Neha. And nice to meet you, everyone. My name is Sophia. My current role is I am a software quality assurance manager. Right now, I am leading a testing project for a bank in Costa Rica. And right now, we are integrating AI to our processes, especially in the testing processes. So for that reason, I am conducting AI training sessions for QA engineers. And the idea is that helping them to leverage the AI for example, defect prediction, test case generation, test automation. So we are working on that right now.
And thank you for sharing that. Nitu, I'll come to you next. I'd love to learn a little bit about you and tell the audience, just some of the projects that you're working on as well.
Hi, Neha, and hi, everyone. I am Neetu, based out of Singapore, and I'm working as an Assistant Vice President for Sales, focusing on Southeast Asia market. My role involves helping businesses understand and implement technology solutions, including those powered by AI. A lot of emphasis we are now giving on the AI technology. My current focus is on helping our clients leverage AI technology for projects like, where customer experience improvement, supply chain optimization, quality assurance, and, a lot of data driven decision making. So that's what we are fully focusing on right now.
There's a lot of digital transformation happening with businesses right now. I know, Neetu, you're probably at the center of all of it. And Anna, I'd love to hear about your background and, of course, where you're joining us from and some of your projects that you're working on when it comes to AI.
Thank you, and thank you for having me today. My name is Ana Robles. I'm from Mexico. I'm a machine learning engineer, and I'm part of Ecora's generative AI team. I've been 4 years in the industry now, and well, what we focus on the practice is like we help different clients with their AI needs, and this could vary a lot depending on the client. So it could be like creating documents using AI, chatbots, automation for their processes, in general, tools that help them to get closer to their customers, but also help them in some of their internal processes. And something that I really love about my job, and I guess Nitu and Sophie can relate to this, is like is really challenging and it's always changing. I mean, the AI field is been transforming a lot in the last 2 years, so you really need to keep up to date with the new knowledge, and that's something that I really enjoy. I find it like exciting and rewarding for me, because you need to have this continuous learning and to be like current with the latest changes, and that's something that I really like, and I know that I'm not the only one. I know the girls are also living this part as well.
Yeah, that is something incredible about this field, that it's evolving every single minute. And yes, I think trying to keep up with it is just a little bit of a challenge there. So let's jump into that first question here. And I'd love for our audience to chime in with some of your comments and questions for our ladies here as well. This is a tough one because we know in AI, some of the stats that come out about how many women are actually in the data and AI field, just roughly around 30%, which is not a lot. So let's talk about bias here. Have you ever faced bias in the AI field, or even in your journey in tech? Let's just start there. Sophia, I'll start off with you for this question.
Sure. As a woman in a leadership role, sadly, but sometimes I have to prove my expertise, my potential more than my male colleagues, for example. As I mentioned, that moment were a little bit sad, but I use this as a motivation to keep learning, to keep me updated, and obviously try to show all my value, all my professionalism, my potential through good results, right? And related to AI, in my work as QA engineer, I also seen how biased data, they are biased in data. So, and this can affect the testing accuracy, for example. So there is a great effort to try to use inclusive data in our work, try to improve how to include data sources that include all the possible scenarios, right? And this will help us to reduce the AI
No
bias
escucho
and
casi
also
nada.
take better decisions.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And yes, sometimes we have to get a little uncomfortable and honest about some of the
Yes.
things that we deal with. Anna, I'd love to hear from your perspective as well. Anything that you'd like to say from what you've heard Sophia said? Have you had that same experience when it comes to dealing with bias in your tech journey, especially being a female engineer in AI?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been really disappointing. Yeah. Guys, I want to know first, you are hearing me well? Because sometimes I get some robotic sounds from you. Okay. Okay, well,
We can
that's
hear
perfect.
you.
um, yeah, now I'm hearing you well. But yeah, I did experience it, and as Sophie said, that's something that it quite made me make me sad. I was disappointed with the experience because I don't know you guys, but what is most frustrating for me is like many people believe that we have achieved equality just because we get to work in tech, that we have like the same opportunities and that everything is good because we have the works now. And while I was in college, I heard about this, and I feel like somehow privileged because I didn't experience these situations in college. But when I reached the industry, it was like a whole other panoramic. And for me, it was quite disappointing. I'm gonna tell you about one of the experiences that I have. But during one of my first projects, as you know, I was the only girl in the team, and this is something that is quite common. Usually, there is not a lot of participation of women in the STEAM fields. This means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So, in my first meetings, I was with the stakeholders, and they were doing this thing where they were like directing their attention and their questions only to my male colleagues. And it was not like I was not there, but somehow it felt that way, and I felt like they weren't taking seriously like my credentials. And for those cases, I quickly learned that assertivity, it was like one of the tools that you can use to fight these situations. But unfortunately, that is not my forte. I'm not one of those persons that are gifted with that ability. So for me, it was quite difficult. And I did what I find the best for me that it was just to keep showing up, to find a way to put me in these situations where I can find a space for myself. And luckily for me, some of other college, he was, like asking me questions in the meetings. Like, the stakeholders are the people that are involved with the project, that are interested in it, and they are going to benefit with the project. So they were not asking me questions that directly, but my college were doing that. So they were asking me like, oh, how do you think we will implement this? What do you think is the best for this? So I guess that will like gradually give me some credit for them, and they started to seeing me as what I was from the beginning, like a valuable team, member team. And I always felt like, whichever work I do, I really put all my effort in there, and I just want to deliver a great work. But sometimes, with these situations happening, I feel like, it was a little bit unfair, because I think women shouldn't go like for the extra mile just to prove their credentials. And
Yeah.
having to do this like in, it's not like daily basis, but if you change of context, maybe you enter into another team where you need to again prove your credentials, and I think that's emotionally draining. And and well, for these situations, what I get is like, we definitely need to work on our certificate, but also, I see that this is not something that we need to solve by ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is an issue that I mean, we need like multi approaches to solve it, and we are not the only ones that are responsible for it. I mean, organizations need also to take responsibility for it. And something that I find really interesting is like, when you get to this, into these situations, you're going to find this is a really sad situation, but also you are going to find really nice networks of people that are really aware of these situations, and they are going to support you like a lot. So I think this is something really big, but it's not bigger than us. So I wouldn't, discourage ourselves to participating in AI or in any of the other STEAM fields, because it's worthy, and I think we are dedicated and we are capable, and we contribute. We
Yeah.
contribute. So yeah, these situations can appear from time to time, but we are bigger than that.
Yeah, and
And
you're completely correct. This really does mean that we need to have some of the men that we work with, who do have authority in the room, elevate us and give us a voice
exactly.
in some of those situations as well. And I love that you explained how you overcame some of those challenges. Nitu, I kind of want to bring you in the conversation here. We've talked a lot about some of the bias that there is in tech, right? Whether you're in sales, whether on the business side, or even on the engineering side. So how do you think women can actually shape the direction of AI development and make it more inclusive? And just to kind of caveat this, there really
Yeah.
is such a great business case to be made for this, right? This is
Yeah.
incredibly valuable for businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, when we talk about inclusivity, the only way to resolve it, participate more and more. That is what I urge for all women. So that's the best thing. And when we talk about participation, let's bring the conversation again on the AI development point of view. So this is the most transformational technology right now we all are experiencing in mankind of entire history. I mean, you just accept the industrialization if we keep aside. So if women will not participate at this time when the AI development is happening, there will be this technology will build on biases.
Mhm.
The data set will build on biases, the algorithm will build on biases. If the curators of these technologies are not bringing inclusivity, you know then definitely the outcome will also, the future of this technology will also having some outcomes where already biases are set. Take an example of any, let's say a retail organization or a company which is selling products which is largely focusing on the women segment, and their customer experience application, it's, let's say, because the company has adopted AI technology, is built by a specific gender people, you
Mhm.
know. So look at the bias itself is setting at a very base level. So according to me, participation, what I meant here is the women, they are not only in technical field but non-technical field, let's
Yeah.
say, creative, humanitarian, or maybe, HR functions, or music, art. What about those data set? Are we bringing that data, that knowledge in these algorithms or not? Because ultimately they will also decide in a business ecosystem. A lot of things are associated with these creativity things around. So so if those women, they also start participating in any format, because this technology, the beauty of AI development is it's not required to be a technical person. The line between technical and non-technical, it has already diminishing, because of it is a very uh, you know it's based on natural language practices. It's NLP based technology. So the UI is very language based. It's not required to you or me to be have a technical background, a heavy loaded technical background to use the AI, right? So that's the first thing women can do to bring
Mm.
inclusive, to bring the inclusivity in overall ecosystem. And the second example I think I want to put here, removing biases in data set, and auditing those algorithms, what is being created until now. So there was a social experiment, done by a researcher and a scientist, Dr. Joy Belmovini. She is from MIT, and she has conducted a very large experiment which talk about the facial recognition software,
Mm.
and the biasness of those technology. And these biasness come from uh, you know gender, color, skin tone. So for example, these softwares actually, if you put up a data set of a, let's say a white man, so these software, the facial recognition software will identify nearly accurate those data set. Okay, this belong to a white toned skin man. There will be chances of only 1% it will go wrong. If it's a white woman, skin color tone white, and a women, the combination, it will give you around the chances of going wrong is just 7%. If it's a black man, then chances of going to identify those facial recognition is around 37%. And if it's a black women skin tone, then chances of going wrong is around 42%. She herself said that she was identified with one of the software as a male, and then she tried to put a white mask and got the data, it was giving a different answers. So so look at the biasness which is already set in those algorithms. So this is what something, you know so that's what I was at the beginning, I was trying to say. By participating more and more,
Mhm.
by creating diverse data set, and at the same time auditing those algorithms which is being written already. So in the development team or in the creative team, if we include more and more women, or we encourage them, we train them, or
Mhm.
we create an ecosystem there, you have a more and more women participating, especially for this technology, that could really bring a difference and real inclusivity. That's my thought process about.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. If Anna and Sophia, if there's anything else you want to add in to what Nutu said, I'd love to hear this.
No, it is great. I agree with me too. And also, I want to mention that the mentorship is also essential, right? Especially that we are already involved in this way of AI. We can support and encourage more women to enter to
Mhm.
this AI field, right? We can create more balanced and inclusive industry too with mentorship, for example.
Yeah, and I think part of this is also having some visibility, right? So we'd love to be able to elevate some of the women who are, like we're doing here at our Women Hackers initiative. It's great that it's in Women's Month, but certainly something like this, it should be throughout the year, right? Because we need to have more visibility. I want to get to question number 3. We're going to put it up on your screen as well so you can see. And just a reminder, we'd love to get your comments and questions as well, and love to hear some of your experiences. So for women and young women who are looking to enter the field of AI, they're hearing a lot about it. We've talked about some of the access to the STEM fields, right? As girls, what are some of the most technical skills they should really focus on, and how can they build their knowledge? Sophia, I'll start off with you for this one.
Sure. I think first of all, you don't need an IT background to be part of AI. This is the first I want to mention. I think the key is to start with the fundamentals. As Nitu says, for example, understanding data is crucial. This basic knowledge about data science, statistics, and how AI models work can be a great entry point. Second, for those that are interested in the technical side, for example, learning Python and machine learning, for example, is beneficial. And I think the best way to build knowledge is through online courses. There are a lot of options right now, hands-on projects, and also exploring the AI tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, because you can see how AI can enhance different industries, right? No matter your field, curiosity and wildness to learn are the most important skills, I think.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick shout out. Swati Jane just made a comment on LinkedIn saying great call outs to need to truly build inclusive intelligence. Representation from all forms of experience and expertise is necessary. So Swati, thank you for commenting. We'd love to continue to hear your questions and comments throughout our chat. But Anna, I'd love to get your take as well. That same question for you. So for women who are looking to enter AI, what are some of the most technical skills that they can focus on? How can they build their knowledge? You heard from, Sophia that just says, jump right in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I really love her answer. And I feel really touched by what her said first about the background, because I didn't have an IT background before. I study mechatronics. That is quite different. and I have to survive all the changes before entering into AI, and it was something that I really enjoy. It was a challenge, I'm not gonna lie to you. There is a lot of things that we need to learn to get there, but this is something that I really enjoy. And as for the skills, I'm gonna try to complement what Sophie says, because I think her answer was great. And I will say that I don't know if you ever have seen these AI diagrams that are in the web. You can search like AI diagram, and you are going to see some circles like this is AI, and this is machine learning, and this is deep learning, and this is generative AI. So it's a really huge topic. So I will say you need to jump in, and you need to see what are the things that interest you, that are interesting for you the most, so you can choose a path to like is more focused on the things that you want to do. Of course, you are going to need to cover some basics. I think you need to learn programming. Maybe if you want, it's not that necessary, and depending on the profile that you want to cover, but I will say for most of the things is necessary. So I think the dominant language in AI now is Python, and it's a really friendly language, so you can start learning that. And there is a bunch of free courses on YouTube.
Yeah.
And as Sophie says, if you want something that is more structured, you can, take Coursera and take a bunch of other platforms that help you to help a like a more organized path. And also, I know some like roadmaps to Gen AI and stuff like that. You can also Google it like that, but I can also paste you some link of resources on what to cover on that. So I will say programming, Sophie say data. I will also add in there a control version tool, something like GitHub, where you can, add in there all your projects and know the changes that you have done in time. And later than that, I will say that you should search for the fundamentals in machine learning and then in deep learning. And if you find your passion, like I want to do computer vision or I want to do natural language processing, you can go beyond that. But I will say those are the first things that I would recommend. I will I will highlight the comment that Sophie says about your background. And I know this sounds like a lot, but you don't need to be afraid. I mean, all the topics are like this, and you just need to jump and give one step at a time, and you will be fine.
I love that, right? But beyond the technical skills, what are some of those soft skills or even the personal attributes I think that you all three have demonstrated that have helped you succeed in tech and this emerging field that we're seeing? And, for me, I feel like it is, we have to be able to ask questions, right? We have to be able to have that desire to learn, ask questions, and seek out and be unafraid. But Nitu, I'd love for you to, get your thoughts here.
Yeah. No, I mean, you are absolutely right. Asking question, and especially in this, when we talk about the AI technology point of view. So when it started, it was more like a monolithic LLM models. It was straight away you ask questions and you were getting answers, and slowly it has evolved and it's converted into a compound systems, and now it is moving towards agentic and multi-agentic approach. And the other side of the thing is you need not to learn the technology, you can simply use this technology by asking question. So the only difference is earlier these LLMs used to reply immediately, but now these agentic approach and these compound systems are planning, thinking, and then replying, because we are directing these technologies toward a particular data sets. We are asking them to go and find and search and plan and then reply us. So to access these sort of AI technology, we actually, from soft skill point of view, we I think that critical thinking and problem solving skill is very important. As a human, we should be able to evaluate the accuracy level of those answers. So at the beginning I said, like, by participating. So what I meant here is, whatever the skill I have, let's say you're a doctor or a farmer, retailer, beautician, or interior designer or anything, start using it so that you can actually evaluate what sort of answers and data set you are getting it and how much it is reliable, and you can refine it also. So critical thinking, problem solving. Another thing is, I think, communication skill. It is a very generic thing to quote, and everybody knows when we talk about soft skill. But especially when dealing with the AI, technology, I think the ability to clearly explain the complex questions or the complex AI concept. So whether it's a technical or non-technical, in both ways, the communication skill is actually very important. So there, I think we should emphasize whether, a new workforce or a young girls or the students or that level itself, we have to sort of infuse that, because now dealing with computer is completely different. It is no more 1 0, it has become a completely a regular language, how we talk. So, and then other things, when we are working in an organization, of course, collaboration, teamwork, being able to collaborate with technical, non-technical team altogether. Whether I'm from HR and sales, I should be able to work with my delivery and technical and solution team, what they are talking about in this technology and how I can pitch that technology to my client. So that comes as a technical collaboration part of the things. And of course, when we talk about soft skill, then ethics and
Right.
integrity, these are the things we all have to kind of shape up in a way that we can create a firm character altogether. So that's how emotional intelligence is another area where These all technologies, you would say, these are not knowledge based. Knowledge based is something which we are creating for these technologies. So if there is a right amount of empathy which we are feeding in our data sets, these chatbots are dealing with your end users, your customers also, and sort of the entire the reputation sometime of particular organization or particular brand is also on stake when some chatbot is dealing with some biasness to your end user. So all these things are, if you put together, that it's equally important as well as the technical skill.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Sophia, is there anything else that you'd like to add to that?
Completely agree with me too. I just will add that we need to be open to learning, right? As Anna mentioned, the concepts around AI sounds difficult, right? But it's important to be open to learning new concepts and also staying curious, right? Because it will help you, maybe if you don't have a lot of experience, to explore new things, explore new tools that right now there are a lot of AI tools available in the market. So I think it's important to be curious.
Yeah. Moving on to question number 5, we're going to put that up on our screen as well. You could take a look at it. If you could give one piece of advice to a woman who wants to break into AI, what would that be? What should they focus on first? Anna, I'll start off with you. What would you tell someone if they're saying, I'd like to get into AI, I'd like to do what you do? What would you tell them?
Well, I think the girls already give a pretty nice advices. I will take all of that as advices, but something that I would like to add are two things mainly. The first one is to have resilience, because this is a really changing field. Like, I know all the fields change, but the way that AI has been transforming is something that I never seen before. So you need to have a lot of resilience because some of the tools that we are using now, tools, frameworks, models, are going to be deprecated in a couple years. So you need to be willing to start learning again when there are new stuff out there. So that will, for me, it will be the first one. And the second one, more than a technical thing, I will say that you need to learn to recognize if you are facing some imposter syndrome, because I have seen that this affects like a bunch of women. This is a topic that also affects me, and I know I only have like 4 years on the industry, but these 4 years have have been like, this is a topic that has been present. So I will say, like, you need to learn to recognize it, and to know that you are not alone on this. And I'm thinking this is like, I will put this as really important, because I know that there is a lot of women that don't chase these opportunities because they are not technical enough, or they are not enough, with whichever adjective you want to add there. So I will say you need to learn to identify that, and you need to learn that it's like an external voice, that are more people fighting with this, and you need to start, like, like collecting evidence that that is not happening. So for me, that will be one of the first things that I would like to approach. And as I said before, I will also add that there is a really nice network when you start working. And I'm not talking only about women. In my case, I have been support with a bunch of women, and I know that in the place that I am now is because of all the accumulation of these women that are always like sharing me up. So yeah, you can expect this, and it's normal, and don't be discouraged. And it's something that is worthy. Yeah, I will say that.
Yeah, and I also think, events like these, even virtual events, I know our company puts on a ton of webinars where you can join and learn, and there's such a great opportunity to connect with people who are doing the job. And I think that's so important for people who are interested, right? You always want to connect and talk with people. If someone does want to be a a machine learning engineer, Anna's here. She can answer some questions for you. Sophia, I'd love to get your advice as well. What would you tell someone who wants to break into AI? What would you tell a woman? What's that piece of advice you'd like to give?
Okay, will be. I heard that from me too, and she say that communication is important. So my advice will be: don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Maybe Anna, Nitu, and you, Niha, we are part of a team, and we can resolve our questions with them. But maybe for the people who is watching this streaming, if you don't have a team with you, you can use AI communities. There are a lot of AI communities, and you can maybe be part of them and try to resolve your question with them too. So I think that would be my advice.
And Nitu, I'd love to hear what your advice would be.
I think, like I said at the beginning, continuous learning would help. Like Anna and Sophia also mentioned, it's very, this field is changing rapidly. I mean, even let's say, some of the technologies, take example, computer, internet, it took 20 years to adapt completely. 25 to
Right.
30% of population adapted after so long. And smartphones, just 7 years. And then, speakers, 2 years. And AI is just not us giving us the time to kind of, absorb it. Even the organizations are not ready when we, discuss with clients and they come up with a lot of challenges to adapting those technologies. So I think continuous learning and mindset, that is a very progressive growth mindset, not to have a resistance learning new technology. That is something we all need to kind of adapt.
That's great. Thank you. I love all three of your perspectives and advice here. I think they all work so well together. Let's jump into our question number 6. We know AI is shaping the future. So how can women ensure that the future is built with inclusivity and fairness and diverse perspectives at its core? Why is that so important for us to be involved in this? Sophia, I'll let you lead this question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is to build an inclusive AI future, we need more women involved in AI development. We need more women in the decision making, in the leadership. Okay, because AI system, similar the other systems, they are shaped by the people who create them. So we need to be part of that. Okay, we have a diverse perspective, and this is going to help to reduce bias and definitely ensures a fair outcomes. And I believe women can contribute to advocating for diverse data sets, as need to say, for example, questioning the bias outputs, promoting ethical AI practices too. So I consider it's important to support and mentor other women in AI too.
Nitu, anything that you'd like to add to that as well?
I think from future point of view, it's still, we don't know where it's gonna end. It's really difficult to kind of assess the scale of this technology. But yeah, I mean, so I'll take it in a different way. I mean, those who are already in the stage where they have learned and acquired certain knowledge, I think they should start mentoring people, distributing their knowledge, or create a lot of communities where everybody can access this. That would be an easy path for everyone to look, to progress in a future mode. So that's the thing I wanted to add. I think a lot Sophie and Anna has already contributed. Yeah.
And Anna, is there anything else that you'd like to add to that? Since AI is shaping the future, how can women ensure that this future is actually built with inclusivity, fairness, and diverse perspectives?
Yeah, I think we've been talking about this. I mean, indirectly since the previous questions, and I will remark what Nitu and Sophie says about participating, leading by example, and mentorships. I think those are are some of the things that are going to help, because I think they are um, englobe the same thing, that is like incrementing our participation on it to make sure they have our perspective, and I think that will help.
And for companies, having women at the table and also leading in business, making sure they get funding when they're at these startups, that there is investments behind some of these ideas are so critical, because this is what drives innovation, right? If you've only got half of the population creating products, it doesn't address another market. I mean, there's so much money, to be honest, and this is what speaks to businesses, right? There's so much money to be made. When you do have diverse voices involved, you get better products, you get more innovative products, you get better ideas. If you actually have different voices at the table, you get solutions to problems that you probably aren't even thinking about, just because of the way that women approach problems versus how men approach problems as well.
Yeah, yeah, no, I do agree. In fact, would see in future a lot of unicorns and technology solutions would be coming from non-technical people because of the access they have got it. They understand the problems of their businesses, of their industry in a different way, and they always required to lean on a a tech team or a specific technology to to translate their problems and then communicate. But I think in future, because of the access of the agentic or generative AI, I guess we all would be able to create a lot of solution by our own.
Now, we are just kind of reaching the end of our session. We have so many comments here already, so I just want to read a couple of comments here. Swati, I already read. Nitu, she gave a nice shout out to you, just talking about how to truly build inclusive intelligence. Representation from all forms of experience and expertise is necessary. And Felipe also left a comment here for us. Felipe says, I'd like to build an app to recognize and compare images to see if they would be a possible match for the same person/animal. I know nothing about AI. Where would you recommend I start? So Anna, Sophia, you guys have any answers for Felipe here? Where do you recommend he start? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, I will tell him, like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. I will recommend you to search for some of the frameworks that already exist. I'm pretty sure that GitHub and LangChain have some um, models that you can use for the thing that you are looking for. Even they have like a filter, like I want this model to be really good at summarizing, and in your case it will be like, okay, I want this model that is going to be really good at computer vision, but that it will exactly identify animals or the different clouds. There is models for almost everything, so you just need to play with them, and it's as easier to make a call. So don't worry, you don't need to teach them how to do this stuff. There is a lot of things that are already created for this.
And I thank you so much for sharing that. This has been such an incredible conversation. I'm so glad I had the chance to spend some time with all three of you, Anna, Sophia, and Nityam. Hopefully we can stay in touch on internally as well. And I'm glad we've had a chance to share your perspectives with everyone here. A big thank you to all of you, and a big thank you to all of you who are watching right now. We hope that today's discussion ignites your passion to not just push boundaries, but to shatter them, challenge these biases, and lead the charge for a future where women are at the forefront of AI and innovation. At Ancora, we are committed to fostering diverse talent in technology. And if you're passionate about tech and you want to be part of a more inclusive future, let's keep the conversation going. Make sure to follow us on social media. We're on LinkedIn. We're going to put that screen up for you so you can take a look. We're on various social media channels. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, of course, and on Facebook. So please make sure that you join us. We'd love to hear from you as well, and stay up to date with our Women Hackers Initiative and other exciting opportunities. Have a great rest of the afternoon.
Thank you, Neha, for
Thank
being such
you.
an
Bye-bye.
incredible anchor for us, and directing it. A big shout out for you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, and thanks, Anna and Sophie.
Yeah, it was
Thank
a
you,
pleasure
guys.
to share this
Pleasure
space with you
connecting with
guys.
you. Thank you. Thanks
Yes.
everyone for
Thank you,
commenting
guys.
here.
Bye-bye.
We appreciate reading comments.